Good day, IOA. This is Ellen Miller, IOA's Executive Director, and I'm thrilled to be here, but with IOA's President, Alicia Booker, and IOA's President-elect, Sarah Clapper. For those of you who don't know, Alicia Booker is the Principal Ombuds at Baylor Medical Center, and Sarah is the University Ombudsperson at Northwestern University. So today we're talking about our brand new Professionalization Task Force that IOA just stood up, and we're so grateful to have both of you here as co-leads, doing different key lead roles when you're president and president-elect and immediate past president over this task force that will expand over 2 years. So let's just start off, Alicia, with you, and let's spend some time talking about the why. Why did we feel the need that we needed this task force in the first place?
Yeah, so IOA has been definitely looking at our profession and what it takes to do this work well. Even the research has been emerging, my dissertation specifically on the competencies, and we get with so many questions about a program. How do I expand my program? What skill set do I need to specifically ask for? What are the job descriptions? And so we are designing this task force to look at that specifically and how we can support our ombuds.
Terrific. I know I get so many calls asking for all of this information. So I'm excited to be able to provide more targeted technical assistance for sure. So the research has certainly expanded in this space. You touched upon it with your own dissertation. Our research and assessment committee talks about this. And certainly we have learned a lot with our practice and comp survey, but tell us a little bit about what the research says about competencies and sort of career paths.
Yeah. So the beautiful thing is that we have done a job analysis survey from 2008 and 2016, and there's no change in the functions in which ombuds do. So what the competencies are set, we've just now looked at ADR language since that's our most in alignment practice, and there's competencies that have been named. The beautiful thing now is that the Professionalization Task Force is looking at job titles, job descriptions, and saying, at what job title do you want this specific skill set? We're going to be looking at pay from looking at our remuneration survey. And so using all the data that we've already done, we're just expanding and building out and giving some structure to what that would look like for programs and for practitioners who need to know what is the next step and when do I need to add another ombuds to my office.
Right. Even I'm just thinking about your two titles. We don't have consistency in the profession, about one person is called this in one location, somebody else is called this. And it's quite confusing when we're giving samples and benchmarking information to programs that are starting from scratch. So this will be super helpful. So Sarah, tell us a little bit about the charge and what are we specifically asking the task force to accomplish?
Well, Alicia already started talking about what we're really doing on a practical level. We are gathering descriptions of who works in ombuds offices, the ombuds themselves, the support staff, interns, anybody else associated with an ombuds office. So gathering both their job titles and their job descriptions. Then we're also looking at the pay rates for each of those positions. But then ultimately what goes into the position title and the pay rate is the competencies or are the competencies that are required for each of those levels. So we are looking at and identifying the job titles, the descriptions, and those competencies at each level of an employee of an ombuds office. And that hopefully is really going to help our members to know, like Alicia said, when they need to add people to their office, what type of role they really need for their office, and that can help them advocate within their organizations for those extra positions, because they'll be able to identify exactly what is needed for their specific situation. So we're creating this support system for ombuds to expand their careers and their offices.
That's terrific. And so what are you most excited about with this work?
I am thrilled that we are going to finally have a comprehensive resource for ombuds. And it's a guide for potential career paths. And it's it's something that we haven't had all in one place before. And because we all do practice in different types of organizations, different industries, being able to have some standard language that we are all able to work with is going to help educate others about our offices and our roles, and also help us with our career paths.
Absolutely. And one of the other vulnerabilities for offices is to be able to define what you do and to be able to evaluate yourself and create tools for others to evaluate the work that you're doing. And without this baseline information, we can't even get to that phase of the work. So it's exciting that we're creating this important foundational piece. Related, of course, is the uniform reporting categories project that has not been updated, we know, since 2009. And sadly, it's so critical for us to compare how programs are doing, right? It's really critical that we update that information. And so that will certainly happen year 2. For those of you who are following, again, it's a 2-year task force. So that work will be the focus of efforts in year 2. And sort of big picture, how does this all fit into what we're working on? We've hired a consultant who's looking at our current co-op certification. He's benchmarking our co-op to other programs in sort of similarly situated professions and fields, so we can make some good decisions. We also have this wonderful task force on accreditation that's looking at pulling office accreditation out of the certification, out of our certification process. We know we have an anomaly and an unusual certification where we test both knowledge and skills with also program setting. So task force is looking at that. And for those of you who've been members for a long time, we stood up several years ago the Organizational Ombuds Effectiveness Project, which was in place to really give you ombuds tools to advocate for your worth and your value in this program, in your organization. And this new task force is sort of completing some of that information that came up from the thought leadership, identifying areas that we needed to focus on and really spending some time delving in. So thank you both for your leadership. I'm excited. Any last words?
I'll just say I'm just so proud of our volunteers, our members that are serving in these other task force. We have the education strategy that's weaving into this. We have our research committee that's supporting some of this. And so ultimately the big picture is for all of this to flow together like one large wave to lift all ships. And so we hope that, you find value in what we're doing. If you want to volunteer in any space that we have, this is the time. We are definitely, a new day at IOA.
And I also want to add that this project in particular, this task force, really is bringing the life cycle of an ombuds and an ombuds office full circle, from emerging ombuds all the way through somebody's career and expansion of their office to the end. And so it's really nice to be able to define that.
Absolutely. Thank you both for your leadership on this. Stay tuned, everybody. Have a great day. Bye.